Hey everyone, it's Kim Allen at Sincerely Sublime Designs, and I'm excited to be here with you tonight to offer you an online class featuring the Ornamental Christmas Bundle. And you can see here it is this stamp set and these dies. We've got an ornament. You're going to see something really neat that I did with that. And then we've got a tree, we've got a great big circle, and if you've seen the gold rings, that circle cuts out that same size so that you can use those. Then we've got a star and the tree and just some fun little decorative elements, and I will be showing you how to use those. We're also going to be using the Modern Christmas DSP, which is just really, really pretty. It's black, white, and gold, and the gold foil is just so pretty. I don't know if the camera does it justice, but you can see this is just really pretty. This is probably my favorite piece right here. It is this is all that's left from 2 packs, so I had to show you what I had, but these are just a couple of the prints that come in this. You're going to see some of the other ones as we work tonight. So let me move this out of the way. Just a couple housekeeping things before we get started. I wanted to share that my November club is going to feature the Peace on Earth stamp set and the Peace on Earth dies. And I know this might feel a little Christmassy because you've probably seen a lot of Christmas cards using it, but we are going to focus more on the sympathy and the heartfelt prayers and the hugs, and go with more of that kind of theme so that you can use these cards all year. I know a lot of people already have their Christmas cards done, so I don't want to limit it to just Christmas. But there are the Christmas options in it that can also be used. So if you're interested in doing card club with me this month, you get to make 8 cards. It's 4 designs and you make 2 of each. And I would love to have you join me. There is a link in the YouTube description down at the bottom that you can click on to find out more information and how to register. So that's for November Club. The other thing that I have going on right now is a really fun collaboration that I did with Kim Quady. We came up with 12 different projects and we're calling it Have a Crafty Christmas. And so you get 12 different holiday projects to make. You get to open one a day, or you can do all 12 on the same day. It doesn't matter. But it's a lot of fun. The packaging is going to be really neat so that you can use those, the packaged items over and over again for your gifting. This little ornament is so cute. It's got this little 3D tree on it that uses the gold ring, and then we've got the little gingerbread tag. We've got some fun little cards. Just wanted to show them to you real quick. Just some different. You get to make all 12 of these if you purchase the Have a Crafty Christmas. So that's just some, just a little sneak peek of those projects. That link is also down in the description if you are interested. So let's go ahead and get started with tonight's class. The first card that we are going to make is this one. And I just love all the gold on this. I'm excited to show you how simple it is to make this card because I think it's going to be a really neat little wow. So we're just going to start with basic card base. It is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4, and I'm just going to fold it right in half. And this is some of that designer series paper. I love the fa la 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 la. The font in that is just so cute. And then on the back, you've got the gold berries with the little black leaves. I hate using the side that doesn't have the gold on it because it almost feels like I feel bad putting seal over top of the gold, but sometimes you gotta do it. Okay, so I'm just gonna use seal and I'm going to glue that down. You want to make sure when you cut this DSP that you cut it so that it's the words are going the right direction. And then I just used this, and I know I forget, it's the textured notes dies. It cuts out the different rectangles with the different border around it. And I am going to glue that down with some dimensionals. We're just gonna put one on the back of each corner. that right in the middle to give us the base for our base to put our ornament on. Now, if I'd been smart, I would have put the string on first, but I didn't. So we are going to figure that out in just a little while. I promise we will make that work. So the next thing we are going to do for this ornament is the die cuts out the ornament outline. It also can cut out the ornament with the decoration in the middle. So let me show you how that works. Let's see, I'm still getting used to this setup up here. So where did I stick that? Okay, so to do the ornament with the decoration, you are going to put down your paper, and then you're going to put the die over top of it. And then you are going to take this piece. It looks like that. So you can see it makes little dots and it cuts out those circles, but it is not going to cut a rectangle. So you can put that down right in the middle. And when you roll it through, you are going to get this. And you can see that my gold got kind of scratched up, but it's not going to matter because we're going to cut it. So I've got this and I have this. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my snips. Now, if you're a perfectionist, you can take your trimmer and you can cut down alongside those dots. But if you know me well, you know that I am not a perfectionist. So we are just going to trim this up. We're going to do that on both sides. And so that gives us that little strip. And what we're going to do is we're going to glue that right down onto the ornament. And the reason that I didn't just cut it out and make a rectangle is because I didn't want to have to curve the sides. By cutting out the whole ornament in the gold, I can have the sides curved the way I want them to go. Now you could use Tombow glue, you could use fine tip glue. I am just going to stick a little bit of seal here and there. This is definitely my go-to. Now I'm stuck to it. And I'm just going to peek and make sure that I don't see any seal coming through the holes, and I do not. So I'm going to take this and just attach it right onto the ornament. That's going to give me that decorative look across the middle. And then I've just cut out the topper out of black. And they give you this little circle up here at the top to make it nice and easy to glue that topper on. And then this ornament is going to go right in the center. And I'm going to take the twine. This twine is so neat. It's part of the suite, this black and gold. And of course, I pulled out one that has not been started, so you get to see me struggle to find the end. Let's see. Of course, I'm not finding it. Do you have trouble finding the edge for the linen thread? And if you're like me, do you end up just starting it again? Starting your own end so that you can... So this is what I do. Just take it and I'm going to start my own end. And then I'll get to the other one eventually, and it'll be a mess, but that's okay. I do not want to take up too much of your time, make you watch this. So now I'm just going to have a great big mess. So I'm just going to cut myself a strand of that, and I am going to tie a bow. And this is actually really easy to get your bow positioned the way you want it. I know a lot of you don't like to tie bows. I get it. I really don't mind it, but this thread is really easy to use. So you've got your bow. Now, because I screwed up, I'm just going to lift this up a little bit. I'm going to cut a piece of it off of this. And I am just going to stick a little bit of seal on the end of it. and then just tuck it and then pull it down like this. And then I'm just going to put a little bit more seal so that it comes straight down. Oops, let's pull it over so we can kind of have it in the middle. There we go. Okay, and then I can take my ornament and put it right over top, just like that. So I'm going to use dimensionals again on the back of my ornament. And actually I'm going to cut this just so it's not annoying. I'll just stick that right there. That gives us our ornament, and then I can just take my bow, and of course, did I bring glue dots up here? I did not. So I am just going to stick a little bit of seal right there. And when I get downstairs, I will add a glue dot so that I know it stays on there. And then I'm just going to trim that up, and I've got my little bow. Here, I'm going to turn that just so that it, there we go. It's all going the right way. Now, the last thing this needs is a little bit of bling in the middle of the ornament. And I'm going to show you these sequins. They are great. A lot of people don't realize how awesome they are. They look like they are above, kind of come up above the paper. Let me find the, here's my pack that is open, but they're flat. And it's really cool because they don't come up off of it, and you don't have to worry about creating that extra bulk on your card. So these are the Traditional Sparkling Sequins. They are great because you've got the blue, you've got green, red, and then you've got the champagne that, you know, can go with gold, it can go with silver, however you want to use it. The way that this class works tonight, if you would like the card kit and be able to make all three of these cards, if you place a $50 order in my store between now and November 10th, you will receive the kit. It will come with everything you need to make the cards. So that's with a $50 order. If you place a $75 order, I will add in a pack of the sequins. So you will get all three card kits and the sequins if you place a $75 order. If you place a $50 order, it is all three card kits will be sent to you. So these are great for adding just a little bit of bling. I'm going to add one right here in the middle of my ornament. And you know, now that I look at this, it's really weird. I guess I put another black piece behind the gold, and I did not do that on there. Okay, well, that was my mistake. I like it though. I think it looks pretty. And we are just going to add a sequin right there in the middle. Now, if you wanted to put black behind there, you can. I think it's kind of cute with the other print coming through. I like it. So you can tell me which one you like better. There you go. If you wanted to do this, you would also just cut, probably what I would do, I would cut a piece of black using just snips behind the gold, just to give me my the guide for where to cut. And I think that would be a very simple thing to do if you wanted to add that black piece there. So that's that one. So simple. Okay, so that's card number one. Okay, let me pull out what we need for card number two. It is this one. And what I love about this card, and can you tell we're not doing a whole lot of stamping tonight? We're really using the DSP. There was no stamping on that ornament card. You could always put a piece of white on the inside and stamp with Merry Christmas. That would be a great one to use. You could use the Merry Christmas. You could use 'Tis the Season, Be Jolly, Wishing You Peace and Joy. You could stamp almost anything as you're reading on the inside. Now for this one, I think what's really cool about this card is that you can almost do this with any DSP that you have and create this kind of look. let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to teach you a couple little tricks with this one. Okay, so once again, we've got the basic block card base. It's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4, and folded in half. And the next layer, I cut it, it is 4 inches by 5.5 because you want to go all the way across. And then we are going to tear it. And all you have to do is just pull that skinny side towards you. That's all you have to do. Do not go back and try to even it out or do anything crazy like that, because that just makes it smaller and smaller and smaller. However you do it, it's going to look great. So we are just going to take it now and attach it to the card front. I just want a little bit of black at the top and a little bit of black at the bottom. It almost looks like that card front ended up being a little bit more than 5.5. I might have to go back and trim that up. Okay, then the next layer that we're going to add is a black piece that's going to go right down the center of that white. So we're just going to add seal again. Now, if you think about doing this with other DSP, you could do red and green. You could do different greens for Christmas. I think about that. The tags and more. I think it is DSP. I think that would make really cool cards because you could do a different print in each one of the boxes. So now that we've got this base, we are just going to cut 3 pieces of DSP, and I wrote these down. They are 1 3/4 by 2.5, and you're going to do 2 of the same prints on the outside and 1 on the inside. Now you clearly don't have to do that. You could do, all 3 different prints. You could even do all 3 the same if you just wanted to have that window pane look going across the front. So I am going to add seal back here, and on this side I want to come right up against the edge. It'll almost look like it's folding around the front. And then on the other side, I'm going to do the same thing. The best part about doing the 2 outside pieces first is that you can make the middle work very easily. Okay. And I know that looks like it's torn over there, but that's just the natural way that the paper's done. And then this little piece with the trees is going to go right in the center. Oh, and I ran out of seal. Fortunately, I brought one up here with me, so let me take care of that real quick. This right in. Let's see. There we go. Got it going. Okay, so we are just going to put a little bit on the back of those trees. Stick it right there in the middle. And there you go. See how easy that would be to create a card using any DSP. It would be so simple. Now this card over here, I used a larger circle punch to do the tree. And after I did it, I was like, it covers up everything on this piece. So I thought, let me see if I can make it a little bit smaller. So instead of using the larger circle punch, I cut out some trees using, this ended up being the 1 7/8 circle punch. And then the black one was done with the 2-inch circle punch. And let me show you that paper so you can see where that came from and how simple it was just to punch out some trees. I love paper like this that you can use as your focal image. Let's see, of course now I can't seem to find it. Oh, there it is. How pretty is that? So you can go in with your circle punch and you could punch out any of this and use that as your focal image on this. I chose this one, which is that little one right there. I think probably because it was nice and easy right up there in the corner. And this one is the, let's see, I think it's this one right here. So there's lots of options that you have in that paper. It's just so pretty. So then when I put this onto my card, it doesn't take up as much space and doesn't cover up all the pretty behind it. So I think I do like that. Now what I'm going to do with the strip, it's a 1/2 inch strip. I'm going to stamp using black memento ink and the wishing you peace and joy. So we're just going to stamp. So we've got that piece. Now let me show you the little trick. There is a new punch. In fact, it just came out today for you to order. It is called 3 Banners Punch. Look at all those cute banners. You've got the little flag, you've got the banner that goes all the way across, and you've got this little guy that can go from the top. I really like that. Like put a little embellishment and a bow or something. They turn out really cute. Now what's really neat about this is I can flip it over. These are a 1/2 inch wide. So I can take this strip, and if I stick it in there, it's going to be pointed. But if I come over here, wait a minute, I'm trying to, no, that's going to be pointed. That's going to be pointed. It's right here that it's going to, okay, so it's going to give me the banner look. And I just have to line it up, make sure that my piece is in there correctly. And then, of course, I got way too close. So I'm going to turn it over. We're going to stamp it again. That was not what I anticipated doing. Now I got to try to go straight again. Let's see. In fact, maybe it's easier to go ahead and punch the one side, and then that way you kind of have a guide as to where you're going with it. Okay, so now I've got that. And I'm going to stick it in again. And this time I'm going to not go as close. In fact, I'm going to try to still see the, you can see I've got it just in there. Let's see, does that, I'm trying to get a good angle for you to see. There we go. This goes just like that. Let me make sure I'm in the right spot. So I'll screw it up again. And just punch it, and you've got the little banner, and it can go right across like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals. I'm just going to add these behind it, but first I'm going to create that the bow that goes behind it. So let's cut a piece of this. The black and gold. I don't know if I mentioned it, but it comes in a pack with two different colors. You've got the white and gold, and then you've got the black and gold. They're both really pretty. So I'm just going to take this one, and boy, did I cut a huge piece. I did not need to do that. Actually, if I bring it down here towards the end, I can save some of it. Okay, so I've got this. I want to make it kind of a big loopy bow. You can see you want it to be able to be as long as that one is. But now that I think about it, my loops probably don't need to be as long because my circle is a little bit smaller. So I am just going to pull those, and then I'm going to put some seal right through the middle. And I'm going to look at it so that I've got an idea of where it's going. And I want my bow to go this way. So I'm going to take it in that center of the bow. I'm going to stick it right there. And then I'm going to open up those loops a little bit. And you see I'm Sorry, I've got it covered up. There we go. And then we want the string to come out. And I'm going to actually make the string come out on the same side as the dimensional. There we go. And now I can take off my dimensional pieces. And I'm going to stick it down right about there. And you can see I've got my little loops up there, a little loop down here. You can pull them however, wherever you need a little bit more space. And then just trim up those strings. This one actually looks cute. It could almost be just tucked. I'll go with that. A lot of people, when they put the string behind something, they'll just kind of loop it around their hands. I find it easier to just tie a bow and then be able to stick that center down wherever I want it. Now I'm going to add my greeting on here with a dimensional on the wishing you side and seal on the popped up side so that it goes just like that. And you can kind of position based on what you want to be able to see in that little window. We'll just do it like that. And then I'm going to add some of these sparkling sequins. I'm going to go with the gold ones again. I'm just going to I like to do little groups of 2 and 3. So we're going to do a big one and a little one down here. And then we're going to take another, let's go with another little one, or actually the medium sized one. We'll put it up here. And so I've always heard that you want to make a triangle with your embellishments, and you should always do them in either groups of 3 or groups of 5. Stick with the odd numbers. So there is card number 2. If you decide to try this card with a different set of DSP, I would love to see what you come up with. I think that it would be really neat. See lots of different options and variations. Okay, so we'll put that one aside. And now for the last card tonight, I am going to bring you some strawberry slush with the gold and black. And it looks so pretty. A lot of people have trouble thinking of this as a Christmas color, but I think it looks really cool. It's a great combination. And actually, let me put this black ink away because we will not be using it. The card base is going to be the same as the other two. It's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then it's strawberry slush. So I'm going to close it. That's going to be my cover, my card front. And then I am going to add a layer of basic black. I believe this was cut to, oh goodness, did I write it down? I might not have. I think that this basic black is 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. Yes, because the white is going to be 3 3/4 by 5. So you've got that little 1/8 inch border that goes around it. Okay, so before I glue the white on, the basic white, I am going to stamp the 'Tis the Season in strawberry slush. See how little stamping we're doing tonight? We have stamped 2 things: 'Tis the Season and wishing you peace and joy. Okay, so I'm just going to come down here. I really struggle doing this sitting down because I typically stand up. Let's see. Oh, not too bad. Okay. Actually, it looks pretty straight. Every once in a while, I surprise myself. So then I'm just going to take this and I am going to put seal on it and stick it right to the front of the card. That's going to give me the space for my star. So then this is, the square is a 3 1/8 inch square. And the reason that I did that, I wanted to still have the same 1/8 inch border around it. And by doing that, I can make this piece a 3x3 square, and I can get a lot more out of a piece of DSP. And there's no waste. So I am just going to stick that onto the black. And then stick that right in that window. And that leaves me my space for that strawberry slush star, which just looks so pretty there. And I think it goes that way. Yep, there we go. And it is cut out using this die, and it is so easy to get the pieces out. It's really kind of nice because when I first went to cut with it, I was like, oh, it's going to be, you're going to be sitting there poking all the pieces out, but they all just kind of fall out. So you end up with the star that is very easy to use. And all I'm going to do is put a dimensional right in that center. It's almost like that center piece was made for it. And I am going to stick it right there. And all it needs is one of our sequins. So I'm going to use one of the large ones on this one. I'm going to stick that right there in the middle. And it is done. How simple is that? These cards are so much fun, and they're so simple, and they're just striking because of the gold that is in these papers. But let me pull these all out so I can show you again. There is our Modern Christmas class from tonight. So if you would like to receive these cards, the kits to make these cards, all you need to do is place a $50 order in my online store. Be sure that you are opted in for rewards so that you are getting 10% in rewards on every order that you place. And then once you place your order, I will see that it went through, and I will send you your card kit. If your order is more than $75, then you will also get the card kit and the sequins. So you will get a whole new pack of sequins. And I know some of you are saying those are unavailable right now, but I ordered a whole bunch of them so that I have them to give you as your freebie for this class. So don't worry, you don't have to worry for them to come back in. I have a pack for you. So $50 gets you the card kits, $75 gets you the card kits and the sequins. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions, and happy stamping. Have a good night.